I'm going to talk to you guys about accessibility and React and why it's important. Before I get started, I just want to give Michael Chan a shout out. I was the MC at my sister's wedding, and man, it's not an easy job. So everyone, can you please put your hands together for Michael? So he was actually born to do this job. His initials are MC. So, I mean, just think about that for a second. So, accessibility may not be the most interesting topic to everybody, but I'm trying to, kind of change your mind and make it, maybe give you a bit more interest into it. So, so hopefully you enjoy that and someone walks away thinking, cool, I need to add a alt tag to that image. So that's my goal. So a little bit about me. So my name's Johnny. I'm actually a front-end engineer from Australia. I've been in the Bay Area for 2.5 years now, working at an awesome company called StackShare. Does anybody here know StackShare? Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, we're releasing something soon that's going to be like a game changer, so check back. It's going to be awesome. So I'm also the founder of Devs with Disabilities Meetup in San Francisco. We have some stickers out there, and we're just a group of developers who meet up every month and talk tech. And we had this guy showing us how he coded without using his hands. So, hold on, this is not actually changing. 1 second. Okay, cool. So this is what you were supposed to see before. I was actually clicking through stuff and it wasn't doing anything. I can see it on the TV there now. So anyway, I'm obviously, if you don't know, I'm missing my arm from the elbow down. I was just born this way. No exciting shark story, which I tell people sometimes, but so that's obviously why accessibility is super, I'm kind of more invested in it. So you can find me online everywhere, Instagram, GitHub, Facebook, Twitter, Johnny X Bell. I'm not actually straight edge. The X is just a spacer because Johnny Bell is a super common name, but it just spaces it out. So you can actually find me in the bar right after this. So. I do have some stickers with me. There's a few of them out there, like the StackShares, the Devs with Disabilities. I do have some pretty limited ones that say full snack developer. There's one on the back here too, and there's donuts, like I know everyone's seen The Simpsons, like the Homer Simpson eating the donuts meme, and there's some cookies, so feel free to grab some of those. Well, if you want one of those, you'll have to come up to me because I only have 10 of each. So you know me a little better. So let me get to know you guys a little better. Like, do we have any, well, I know we had another talker here that was Australian, but do we have any other Australians in the crowd? Sweet. No, awesome. There's an Australian Slack channel if you want to join it. It's very quiet in there, there's crickets, but awesome, so that's great. Chantastic asked this before, but I was sitting down, I couldn't see, like, whose first React rally is this? Well, that's like 50%, that's insane. So, who's been here since like day 1? 5, this is like your 5 or 6. Whoa, okay, we've got some hipsters out there. Cool, this is my third one. This is first time speaking, and I just want to say this is the best conference to speak at, especially for my first. It's so caring and everyone's awesome, so. Thank you, React Rally. So, how long, just another question, like who here has been using React for like just 1 year? Like, who's a real newbie? There's a few, oh, there's quite a few, cool, don't feel shy. Awesome, who's been using it for like 2 to 3 years? And who's been using it since we had a 0 before the version? And why did we have that 0? And why did it go straight to 15? I mean, I don't know. Anyways, I'm sure I can ask people those questions later. But just a brief overview, what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is, what is ALI? We say it ALI, not A11y. If you've used a screen reader, you'll notice it says A11y. I'm going to talk a little bit about disabilities in tech and in general, how you can test your website for accessibility, and getting started with accessibility and React. So I'm going to really briefly cover this, but like, what is ALI? So ALI actually equals accessibility. And we do this because there's 11 characters in between the A and the Y, and I guess it's sort of like a play on words, like when you know, like sort of an array, you count the characters or something. So I think that's why we do it. Well, I'm pretty sure that is why we do it. But what actually is it? So accessibility is about making browsing the web as easy as possible for everyone, like everyone with a disability or without a disability, just making it super easy to browse the web, and we don't want to discriminate against any person out there who may be vision impaired or, you know, have missing an arm possibly. I mean, it doesn't affect me, but certain things like that. So before I start talking about tech, I'm going to talk to you guys about disabilities in the real world. So, I mean, the real world is fairly accessible. I mean, it could be improved a lot, but, you know, it's fairly accessible. Like, we have wheelchair ramps, pretty much, you know, we have one at Stackshare, there's probably some out here. Where we went to dinner last night, there was an accessible entrance. I was going to take a photo, put it on Twitter. I thought it'd be funny, but forgot to. So, you know, we have a lot of those around. We have seats on buses and trains, you know, for people with disabilities. On the Caltrain, I catch it every morning to work, there's seats there. I'm pretty sure most of the people sitting in them don't have disabilities, but they do offer the seats. My office has Braille you can read Braille on you know, the name of the company. It's printed. You don't see this very much, but we should have more, but there is some of that out there. Disability parking in front of Whole Foods, Costco. You know, pre-boarding on airplanes, I actually get this because, you know, if I have 2 bags, I like to take a bit of extra time putting it up. My wife is a school counselor, and her school has accommodations for people with disabilities and special needs. And, you know, the list goes on. We could be here all day talking about disabilities in the real world. And my question is, why should the digital world be different? And my answer is, it shouldn't. We should not discriminate against people with disabilities in the real world. So I don't know if you guys saw this. This is actually a post from earlier this month. My coworker Luke sent this out to the group. I'm not sure if you can read that. You probably can, but I'll just read it out. It says, Domino's asked the Supreme Court to shut down a lawsuit requiring its website to be accessible to blind people. So it is amazing that the court is actually suing them for this. But the fact that Domino's says, hey, let's fight this, instead of, cool, let's actually allow people who can't see to order on our website. I haven't ordered pizza through the phone or in store in like 10 years. So why should it be different for people who are visually impaired? It's just, if they put up, you know, if they said, we're not going to serve people who are blind pizza in our store, there'd be an outrage. I mean, you couldn't do that. So this made me really sad when I saw it this month, and I wanted to put it in here just to show you guys, like, this is something we need to change, and this is something we need to change now. So I don't want you guys to, like, you know, put up your hands or anything, but like, just think about this. Like, what's the percentage of disabled Americans out there? Like, what do you think? Do you think it's like 5%? Do you think it's 10%? Do you think it's 20%? Like, do you think 20% of us have a disability? Like, it's actually now closer to 25% of people. So this is 1 in every 4 people have a disability. That is huge. So this is why we need to, you know, accessibility is thought of, you know, everyone wants to do it and everyone wants to do a better job at it, but it's often thought as an afterthought because it doesn't really, it might not affect you directly. But we've got 1 in 4 people who are disabled now, and we need to make a change. So this profiler, so this is the performance tab in Chrome, right? And it's actually great that I put this in here because it's already been up twice today. And it's just, who uses this daily? I mean, all of us here have already used it, like, this is the 4th time we've seen it today. So, like, most of us, right? So, like, let's take a closer look at this thing. Like, does anyone, like, put up your hand. Like, does anyone see anything wrong with this? Yeah, cool. So we've got a couple of people here. So let's zoom in on these sections right here. So my dad is actually colorblind. And those sections are so difficult to read if you're colorblind because those colors meld together so much. He had to really look at this and like focus and be like, I think I can read it, but I'm not sure because they look so similar to me. I'm not picking on Chrome or anything, it's just an example. So my friend Vutran from Dropbox actually helped me with this one. He sent me this. And he is design systems at Dropbox. So my point is, like, why am I telling you this? My point is that accessibility doesn't even start when we code the website. It starts in the design. So if you design something that's like red and then, you know, there's green text on it, people who are colorblind are not going to be able to see that. So we need to start thinking about accessibility before we even get into code. So most of you, I mean, only 2 people I saw put their hands up seeing something wrong with that. So I want to put this into a coding perspective for the rest of us. So imagine you have this React component, and you're importing a menu item and an item menu from your shared menu. And then you have them interchangeable in here. So this is a small component. There's only 5 or 6. 6, sorry. Yeah, 6. So imagine there's 500 of those. I mean, I'm sure we would code it a different way so we wouldn't have to put 500. But just imagine. If there were 500 of those, that would be so hard to read. My face would be like this. And I'd be like, why are we doing this? And can we do this a better way? So that's about, you know, the design. I'm going to go and give us some real world examples now. So who here, is there anybody here that can't use a mouse? Cool. So everyone here can use a mouse. So imagine if you couldn't. Like, we take this for granted. I take it for granted. Lots of people do. So imagine you couldn't. Let's have a look and let's do a demo. So give me 1 second. So this is a website. Hold on, let me remove this. I've removed the company name. I've removed. I've removed like the logo, everything from this website. I guess, you know, this is a bad example. Like, you already know this is not going to be good because I've removed this information. So I want to buy, you know, a pair of shoes from this website. They're selling something, and I'm just going to tab through this site. So guys, I'm actually pressing tab. Okay, I'm on the search. I'm going to use the mouse to point out things, but pretend I can't use one. So I'm on the search right now. You can see it's highlighted. And I keep pressing tab. For some reason, I've gone backwards into the login, then the create an account, and then I'm just going to try and... I mean, you can see down here that it's on something, right? But we can't see where it is visually. So yeah. Oh, cool. I'm actually in the contact form. I pre-filled this so I don't have to waste time, but I'm going to email them and let them know I can't use their website without a mouse. Cool, I'm tabbing down, tab, tab, tab. All right, I've lost where I am. I think I'm on inquiry type. Let me press something. Okay, cool, yeah, I'm there. All right, cool, I'm on here. All right, I pressed tab once, I'm going to submit this. All right, maybe command return. All right, no, maybe I'm not on it yet. All right. Oh, all right. So as you can see, this website is very difficult for me to navigate. I can't send an email. I can't buy something. This is difficult. So this is a website I built just for this project. I have done nothing to this. It's actually very inaccessible right now. But let me tab through this. Oh, cool. I'm on a link. I'm in the form. Let me fill out the form. Cool, I can do that. I did nothing. That's out of the box. So companies are accidentally making their websites inaccessible by removing things that were there in the first place. So I remember there used to be a fad to remove this little box because it looked ugly, but it's actually there for a reason. So that's why we have it. Let me go back to my slide. Cool. So how many people here have actually tested their website on a screen reader. Cool, that's way more than I thought. So that's great. Yeah, so that's great news. Let's give it a go. I am not going to do this live because I tried, and I have a lot of respect for people who need to do this. I need to press 4 keys at once. I can do it with one hand, but it's just going to be awkward live. So let me just show you a video. This is my Devs with Disability website. I removed accessibility for this example.
Welcome to VoiceOver.
VoiceOver on Chrome. Devs with Disabilities. Google Chrome window. Localhost :80 bookmark. Chrome. Devs with Disabilities. Web content. You are currently on a web content out of Devs with Disabilities. Web content. Visited unlabeled image. Unlabeled image. To get missing image descriptions, open the context menu. List 6 items. You are currently visited. Link. Home. Link. CFP 2 of 6. Link. Sponsor / host. Link. Swag 4 of 6. Link. Conduct 5 of 6. Link. Contact 6 of 6. End of list. Main. You are currently in a main / DWD-logo-C2B86B5F49FF7B3CB902Ed07C5FBE.png unlabeled image.
Okay, so as you can see, like I didn't label the image that. This is a Gatsby site, so shout out to Gatsby. I didn't do that. That just imports it that way, so I didn't label it like that. That could kind of be improved a little. I'm going to put the slides on my online later, so you can watch the whole video. There's more there, but let's have a look. I spent maybe 5 minutes adding a little bit of accessibility, and let's see what it looks like now. Ooh, hold up.
Welcome to VoiceOver. VoiceOver speaks to...
VoiceOver on QuickTime Player. Screen selector window. Screen selector window. You are Chrome. Devs with Disabilities. Google Chrome window has keyboard focus. You are currently on a group inside of web content. To exit this web area, press Control Option Shift up arrow. Navigation. You are visited link image. Home page for Devs with Disabilities. Navigation. List 6 items. Visited link. Home page for Devs with Disabilities. Visited link. Speak at the Devs with Disabilities Meetup. 2. Visited link. Sponsor the Devs with Disabilities Meetup. 3 of 6. Visited link. Devs with Disabilities Meetup swag. 4 of 6. Visited link. Devs with Disabilities Meetup code of conduct. 5 of 6. Visited link. Contact Devs with Disabilities. 6 of 6. End of list. End of navigation. End of navigation. Main. You are currently in a main. Devs with Disabilities logo image.
Okay, so as you can see, that's way easier. I added a few things. I added some like descriptive link names. I added image alt tags. I added a navigation, but it's still not perfect because there was 2 navigations, as you saw. Just didn't want to redo the video. So as you can see, honestly, that took me 5 minutes, and it was way easier. So, oh, they're already on that. Cool. So that's just scratching the surface. I mean, we should and probably will one day have a whole conference about accessibility and disabilities. As you can see, they come in all shapes and sizes. I've only shown a few. You know, I'm running out of, I don't have time to keep going and going on about this. I could. Find me afterwards. I will chat to you for hours about this. So yeah, that's just scratching the surface. So now, let's see how, so you guys now you see that, maybe your website has some issues. How can you actually test for that? And, that's difficult maybe. Well, I'm going to show you that it's not. So I'm just going to use Chrome. So this is my website again. You remember, it's fantastic. So this is my photo. I'm just going to inspect this. So I open, this is big enough to see? Yeah, cool. I open, I'm just going to check out the CSS like you would, cool. There's actually an accessibility tab right here. I'm not sure if you've known about that or not, but you can pop that open and you can inspect your element. And if you don't know accessibility that well, this is probably not going to mean that much to you. But as you can see, there's no alt text, there's no ARIA label, there's nothing there. So you can inspect the whole website like this. I just wanted to show you an image because that's a good example. But that's built right into Chrome. So you can start inspecting, your website straight out of the box. Also, in Chrome, Audits. So this is something called Lighthouse. It used to be an extension. It's built right into Chrome. I've already pre-selected what I want. I just want to see accessibility, no throttling, and on desktop. So I'm just going to run this. So you can see, like right away, it can test for accessibility. As we saw before, my image doesn't have an alt tag. Elements, like the form elements, don't have associated labels, and there's some link issues here. And you can click this, and it will take you to where it is. So it's pretty easy. And then if you want to like take this to the next level, you can install something called Axe. There's also an Axe React extension. I'm not going to go into that today, but you can actually install this. I've already installed it, and it pops up on here. If you analyze, it will give you similar information, but this actually goes way deeper. This doesn't have that many accessibility issues, but this will go way deeper than Lighthouse did, and you can really see the issues with your site here. Like you can see this has got, you know, my HTML is incorrect, it needs this, and you can also like, let's just look here, and you can highlight, and it's going to highlight that for me, and you can inspect the node, and it'll inspect it for you. So those are 3 ways that you can start getting, you know, just auditing your website for accessibility. You don't need to do anything. You might just audit it and be like, cool, let's create a card in the backlog and let's get to this at some stage. So I'm now going to show you how to, say you've got a React app and you want to check for accessibility. I'll show you how to do that right now. So there is an extension. This is an ESLint extension. You can do this. You can write tests that will actually test for certain things, but I'm just going to show you just an ESLint extension. This is so you can get started very quickly. I'm not going to go into ESLint itself. If you don't have that installed already, I suggest maybe checking it out. It's pretty cool. We could talk about ESLint in a whole nother topic, but I'm going to assume you've already got that installed and it's already set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to install ESLint plugin JSX Alley. And you can see this is pretty popular. Like that's weekly downloads, like almost 3 million. That's huge. So I've already actually installed that too because the internet here is always not, the best. As we saw earlier, things were taking a bit of time to load. But in your ESLint config, we're going to want to add, well, I wanted to add extends plugin JSX Alley recommended. So this extends, it'll give you all the rules that it thinks it should. And all we need to do is add plugins JSX Alley. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to need to restart my server. So you can see here we've got some issues, and I'm going to go to the browser, refresh, and we're going to see issues here too. But let's look into this one. So it's the form. So error, a form label must be associated with a control. So we have an error in here. I'm going to open the form. I have my VS Code set up to, already highlight these issues, so you can do that too. I won't go into that either, but let's just add we need to add here a 4, but in React we go HTML4. And let's call this one name. And then there's a few ways to do this. My favorite is actually adding an ID, and we're just going to give that one an ID of name as well. In time's sake, I'm going to delete these because they're all going to be copied, and I just want this to pass. But you can see, so we've added this. Let's go back. Sorry, let's go back here. So those errors are gone. And now we have other errors. Let's have a look in the profile. So in our profile, cool. We're missing our alt tag. That's pretty easy. So let's just add alt profile. Well, let's just go Johnny profile. We don't need to write picture or image because obviously it's an image. If we do write that, it will actually tell us you can't do that because it doesn't make sense. And also, we have an emoji here. Emojis actually need to be wrapped in a span and have a role of image. So let's just do that. Span. Let's close that out. role equals image, and then we need to give it an ARIA label. You can go into this later. I'm not going to explain these. We don't have the time to do that, but you can look into that later. And I'm just going to call it a emoji wave. Cool. So now we're passing. My site looks awesome. I mean, we removed some stuff, but that's fine. Cool. And I just want to quickly, let's check this out. Let's run this. Whoa, I was 61. I'm 98 now. I mean, there's other issues, but that is huge. And how long did it take me? Like 2 minutes. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So let me just go back. So yeah, I just wanted to say, well, I'm done, by the way. So we're hiring at StackShare. We use React, GraphQL, and Apollo. So if you want to use those tech stacks, come find me. I want to do a shameless plug for my meetup. It's just me kind of running the show at the moment. We're looking for anyone who wants to speak, sponsor us, or host. I want to give a thank you to my wife. We've been married 3 months now. She's been listening to me practice and helping me with this. And also want to shout out my friend Rashan. Without him, I wouldn't be here, so thank you, buddy. And that's it. That's the end. Thanks, guys.